This is really difficult.
Prepare yourselves, fools. This program contains graphic language like fuck, shit, and cunt. It also contains discussions about violence and graphic descriptions of gore, such as cunt punning a dead nun while the entrails and blood splatter your face in your new shirt. I digress. This show is for adults, so dispose of your children as you see fit. Now silence and enjoy the show.
Bigfoot, undisputedly the world's most entertaining cryptid. Join the Reverend Jeff Kelly and your old pal Wes as they discuss the best and worst the media has to offer. Movies, books, TV shows, commercials, all on Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the show. So glad y'all could join us. I am the host of this mess, the Reverend Jeff, and that is not my real voice. However, this is. We're going to be talking about MonsterQuest in Whitehall, New York, and all the scary shit that went on up there, along as some of the investigators that was in this show. I actually like this episode. Along with me, as well as always, is your old pal Wes Losner. See. Only happened twice ever. WesLosner.com. That's right. Go buy all your art for sale for your office because it's worth it. Stop giving dead men your money for art. They don't appreciate it. Buy from a living artist.
Buy from the living.
Don't forget to go out to Angel's Dust Seasoning at Facebook.com/Angel's Dust Seasoning and get all of your seasoning needs. Troy is a hell of a guy. So, yeah, go do that. All right, Wes, let's get this thing kicked off. Whitehall, New York. Who the hell would go to Whitehall to go squatching? Apparently, a lot of people.
A lot.
Yeah.
So it's... We're going to skip, because we got a lot of MonsterQuest episodes that we're going to do. And we've already developed that they have a pattern of doing the
telling you everything in the first 5
and
minutes
everything.
and
so we're
ruining the entire show
right
for you.
Past that. Yeah, and we're finding out that we're gonna be looking in New York, right? And they give you the background on New York, and then the run through like on the backcountry, that where it's just country and there's nothing else, and from there they give you the sightings run through, and that's where they're showing everyone that's going to be in the show again, and giving you a fraction of their story, so you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I won't change the channel, because it's what it's based on. So right after that, you get the creature description. It's my favorite part, when they put the little avatar out, and it's got the little, he's like, does a little fucking hand thing. So they do that. After that, they start talking about the history of the area and the sightings that go way back to the Indians that
used to own the land,
the tribes and everything, what they,
way far back before white man. I mean, 1400s, 1300s, stories on beads of families of hairy men in the woods. Don't go there because they get you. They eat you. They rape your women and children. No, they eat your children and rape your women, rape your children, eat your women. I don't know. It's one of them things.
Or both.
Do you rape them before you eat them? I don't know how that works.
Hey, yeah, there's lessons to be learned everywhere, I'm sure. So moving on to our introduction to this episode's Dick. Dick number one, we'll say, because there's two Dicks. But so Mr. Ken Kogut, we're calling you a Dick.
Calling you a Dick. You're Dick number one.
Yeah, so he says it's all mistake. He's the guy that came in and said it's all mistaken identity.
It's got to be bears. It's got to be bears.
Yeah.
It's always got to be bears. Bear. The bear's a word. Bear.
Yeah. I wish we could just have the editing so we could just pop that little fucking doctor's head every time that they mention bear. And he's just like, bear. In the future episodes.
That's right. Pop-up video, Reverend Jeff style.
Yeah. But yeah, so right after that, you get Daniel Gordon's sighting story reenactment that they do. And he was the cop. And he was the one that I took away from it, of course, was the "Wasn't no bear." When he said,
bear.
"Did you see that bear?"
Yeah, no bear.
I mean, you gotta watch the episode clearly to get, what we're talking about, but still, it's funny. But yeah, so after that, they introduce Bill Braun, and he's a investigator from the 70s, and he talks about the area and the
he's
sightings.
The Jaws researcher of the episode.
Yeah,
"Twarn't no bear,"
basically. "Twarn't no bear." So then you get Dick number two, Dr. Phil Stevens, something. He had a whole bunch of little fucking
PHLSD TUMXPQI. By the time we're done in the 6th season of the Squatcher Slouch podcast, Batdorf will have that many letters after his name too. Honorary titles. But so basically, this douchebag says it's all in your mind and everything, and then I wrote Dick number two, obviously. Dick number two.
So right after we're speaking of dicks, let's get right into Dr. Bendernagel.
Poor Bendernagel. It's not Bendernagel's fault. I like Bendernagel for the idea that he's a scientist who openly accepts the idea of Sasquatch. What I don't like about Bendernagel is he'll believe anybody that has even the slightest bit of credibility as if they're Jesus Christ walking across the water in front of him. That's my problem with Bender. And now he's like 146, so he can't see but 14 feet. So everybody takes him, 90,000 yards from the Bigfoot and go, look there, doctor. It's a Sam Squinch. 'Twarn't no bear.
'Twas no bear. But yeah, after his little intro that they do, like for him, like he basically is giving the fuck you to Dr. Stevens.
God bless you.
Yeah.
May the being bless you beware.
That,
May the Squatch.
Thank you. But yeah, so after that we get Steve Coles.
Steve Coles, the Squatch detective. Steve Coles is an all right dude. He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not somebody that he goes after people who talk bullshit. So you better not be full of bullshit if you go after those who talk bullshit. So if he says he's got a sighting there, I kind of got to believe that he's got a sighting there. I believed his story. I've heard it, many, many times in different capacities, but most of the time in his own voice. Seeing the type of location that they were in kind of helped me believe it a little bit better. It's always been like New York, but as the Batdorf and I have discussed, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and he so he starts talking about these two boys that had a sighting. Remember the scene on the train tracks, and they heard a whoop. And they turned around and they saw the Biggie just staring at him, and then
'Twarn't no bear.
Yeah, 'twas no bear. But so the boys book it, the Biggie books it, and then fucking Bill Braun comes in saying, "Fuck yeah." I don't know why I wrote that in my notes, but Bill Braun says, "Fuck yeah." And so after he says, fuck yeah, Steve Coles, we get to where he found this print. And they made this little, tidbit about his print. And he took the cast to Bindernagel. And they had like this little powwow sit down with like prints out, show me yours, I'll show you mine type deal.
Mine's bigger than yours is.
And then so Bindernagel goes on one of those little camera things and he's like, tracks, blah, 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 tracks. And they start showing little scenes of trackways and he gives you the rundown and everything. I like Bindernagel. I mean, he's not no Mayan Zinski, but
and he's not a sellout like the Meldrum.
Yeah.
Not a total sellout like the Meldrum, anyhow. Although he did go on Bigfoot North with Todd Stronding. Anyhow, that's another story.
Yes, but right after that, they introduce Chris Bartow, and he's a researcher. And I heard their fucking name, and I want to say it's the Nessie or Nesser, or I don't know what the fuck research center of fucking somewhere over there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, like Nessie, it sounded like the guy was saying Nessie. I don't know. But anyways, so they introduce him and his experience, that he's had and everything. And they basically, like, you're going to see on MonsterQuest, they give you a whole bunch of, like, information, and then they have 2 expeditions, that they send out 2 separate areas. And then, this is the part where the 2 split and they're, talking about each one, separately. And then right after that, you get Coles, and he's talking about with the way that the substrate is and you can't get a print, most of the time he looks, for tree breaks and shit like that, and he was like saying not like, like eye level, but a little higher. And so he talks about his little theory about that. And then right after that, fucking fuck yeah, Braun comes in and talks about where, like he's standing in front of like this old, like, school map of the area, and he's just like pointing out, like where the animals would travel through and everything like that. And that was a good, like 2-minute little long thing too of that guy. And then right after that, I want to say this is when Bindernagel started explaining how, I mean, it was right after that dude explained how he couldn't see on the substrate. And then Bindernagel started talking about, if they're walking out in grasslands and stuff like that, how it'll just pop right back up. So Bindernagel goes on his little side spurt about that. And then right after that, that fucking dickhead fucking oh wait, no, that's a little after. This is what I thought was funny. Brian Gosling, right? Now some viewers are gonna go, what, the actor? But no, this Brian Gosling guy had a sighting, and he was a cop too. Like a lot of the people that had sightings in this episode were cops. And he is the one that I think saw the Bigfoot like put his hand up in front of his face when he turned on the light or whatever like that. Right after that, after old Brian Gosling, they do the whole Cole's camp does vocalizations, and then there's separate camp that's like 50 yards away is doing like some shit, and they hear like, I want to say whoops, and then the other guys hear like stuff running through the bushes and stuff like that. And then like with MonsterQuest, they're gonna cut, and the fucking guy is gonna fucking it's either gonna cut to a commercial or a picture of fucking Bigfoot's gonna come up, and this fool's gonna tell you like some random fact and they're gonna fucking cut to another scene of something else, and then they're gonna go back to the investigation. This is where they go, and then you get the.
Speaking of that, why don't we go ahead and cut to the live chat room and see who the hell's hanging out in the Snatchers Lounge live hangout? Yeah, I know this is a big Snatchers. Mr. The Dirty Duo, how you doing? Oh God, Cispal, you need a vowel in there somewhere. Asmic, you still need another vowel in there. You're missing 2 vowels in your name, but hey, I'm glad you're here. Annabaz is out there as well. Starshine, Mr. Rod Dupree in the place to be. That's right, Dave Stomp. How you doing, buddy? Glad you're out there as well. Let's see. I know there's a whole bunch more people that join them as they chat. Mr. Rock City Marco, glad you could join us as well. Dean Cooper, our quasi-theorist on Wednesday nights. That's right. Let's see who else is floating around out there. Let's see here. Mr. Cameron Young, Mr. He showed up. Got tongue-tied tonight. I don't know what the heck's going on. Let's see here. Who else is floating around? Gin! How you doing, buddy? Is that like, I don't know. We'll figure it out one of these days. Buck Nye. Hey, buddy. Glad you could join us live. Haven't seen you in a long time. Glad you joined the Bigfoot world again. Let's see here. Who else is floating around? I saw more people. The Unabandoned. Oh, no. That's your Hobo Man 5. How you doing there, dude? I have a hard time. Jeff Gardner, I'm glad you're joining us as well.
Gardner, greetings.
That's right. Who else is floating around out here in the lounge? Linda Thomas. Well, hi, right back at you. Glad you could join us. Another lady joining the friggin' BEW that doesn't care about language. It's such a refreshing thing. Patrick German.
How are you?
How you doing? Glad you could fucking join us.
Are you sure it's not German?
I don't know. Let's see here. Dave Jackson, I'm glad you could join us again as well.
Dave.
Haunted with the Bigfoot tracks. Glad you're out there as well. Let's see here. Dave Jackson. If I didn't say your name before, I've said it twice now.
Dave Jackson.
Let's see who else.
I'll say it again, too.
That's right. Bruce Jenner. No. Dana Baz. I know I said hi earlier, but I want to say hi again. And that is what's hanging out in the lounge tonight.
Bruce Jenner in the live chat right now?
I saw that. Yeah, there's something about Bruce Jenner in there. Oh, wait. There's Strider Longwalker. I love the name. It's like Long Dong McBong Dong. Jeremy Dunlap. He's there as well. Robert Satter. Wow, there's a whole bunch of first-timers out there. Glad you guys could join us tonight. We're just hanging out, talking silly stuff about MonsterQuest. Back to the show here. So they're talking about, they cut right in the middle of everything good.
Yeah.
There might have been a sound. Cut the commercial.
Nope. We're going to go to dickhead number 1.
Back to dickhead number 1.
And Ken Kogut, however the fuck you say that, says, kill the fucker and bring him to me. Basically, in the sentence that I got from what he was saying is, that's the only way I'll believe. You can show me video, you can show me fucking virtual reality, show me whatever the fuck. I won't believe it unless you bring me his dead body. I don't want a living one. I want a dead one.
I'm not exactly sure what a Bacta Peter is, but you're out there as well. Kevin K, I'm getting some late people checking in. Yeah, I got to get those in there a little bit earlier, people. I don't want to have to come back to. But Sasquatch is a Rakshasha, sure.
Rakshasha.
Glad you could join us there, Bacta Peter. I'm sure it's from overseas.
I feel like we were
wonderful thing.
I went back in time right now.
And I am not Bon Jovi, so you're not going to get a chance to say goodbye to Grampy Tim.
Grampy. So
back to this MonsterQuest episode here.
After Ken Gogut's verbal threat to Bigfoot, you get that Alan Hills guy. I don't know if he was a doctor or not, but he's that polygraph expert. And then you get his little intro, and he kind of had that jazzy, kind of like this.
I've been polygraphed, and I've never failed one, but I've told the truth instead. You see how that works? I've never failed a polygraph, but I've told the truth instead. They're tough to get around. I mean, I don't want to even chance having to take another one because that would be kind of embarrassing to have to tell all those truths. But yeah, polygraph ain't nothing to shake your nose at. If they know what they're doing and be able to read that machine, the people will fail themselves, will reveal themselves.
Oh, yeah. You can do that in person, though. You don't even need a machine. It's easy.
If you have any type of authority over them, yes. If you don't have any type of authority over them, then a pathological bastard will get right by you. But the pathological bastard ain't getting by that machine. Yeah. Your nose is gonna twitch. You're just like a pin in your
a machine.
Well, yeah, the ghost in the machine will kill you anyhow.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, now you're bringing ghosts into it.
Scooby! Did you see that?
We might as well bring the Jedi and Marty Mouse.
Somebody asked me if I was advocating for trolls the other day in a comment post, and I was like, well, since we're talking about impossible Bigfoot that pick up 60-foot trees weighing thousands of pounds, sure, it might as well have been a troll in this particular thread.
Yeah, troll.
Troll.
Big troll.
That's a troll.
Yeah, so after... Fuck, man. See how entertaining fucking MonsterQuest is? We get sidetracked so easily. It's just
God, troll.
Oh, yeah, so we'll just fuck off that and say the Sue Ross sighting. That was that one broad that kept getting rocks thrown at her.
Yeah, they threw a rock. They threw a rock at her. They threw a rock at somebody else. They threw a rock at her dog. They threw a rock at the tree next to him. I mean, I'd have been a little upset.
Elvis statue got fucked up.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. So after that, after she tells her little story, she gets the lie detector test, and then they cut the scene to old Bender Bagel talking about drawings by witnesses and the details that they put into the picture because of what they saw and everything. And then for a brief little moment, they talk about how in 2004, New York passed some kind of protection law to protect unknown species or some shit, See, you smarty people will fucking understand what the fuck they were saying right there at that moment. Me, all I heard was, I want pizza. So.
I want pizza.
So right after that, fucking, we're back at Cole's camp, and basically the fucking narrator just busts in and says, yeah, we basically got nothing. This is the part where they're telling you every show they build you up, and they're like, yeah.
And they come back with exactly the same nothing as everybody else.
We got nothing. But the way that the narrator does it, he goes, basically we got nothing, but tune in this next time because we're going to look for the fucking magical, basically he switches on you and starts feeding you information and shit right towards this point. But right after that, the fucking they were doing more calls and shit like that, and then fucking I don't know why they fucking basically said they got nothing, but then fucking kept going with the show a little bit. But we'll just carry on because that's what happened. But so then they start talking to Mr. X. And Mr. X doesn't want his name out there or his face.
He wants to be completely anonymous.
Yeah.
He wants to keep his anonymity.
But then he puts half of his face on.
Right. It's
right after.
He's
like,
hey, Tom, you just called him by his real name, Rocky. Don't do that.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Joan, get me a Snapple.
Oh, fuck that guy. But so they talk about his sighting, and he's talking with John Bindernagel, just telling his sighting and everything. And then for a brief 2 seconds, they come in and they go, Gigantopithecus. And then they pop out and they go to Mr. X's lie detector test, right? So then from there they cut out and they start talking about these 3 little girls that had this sighting. And I think 3 little scared broads in the middle of the woods are going to see, like a dog and think it's a werewolf,
But why would they think it's a Bigfoot? Why would they describe it as a hairy person?
Well, I don't know. But they talk to these little girls. But I'm just saying, like, a dog barking in the right kind of a shadow on the street and the girls don't see it.
It's a werewolf! Run!
It's Bigfoot. They just saw a fucking commercial for finding Bigfoot, or something. So it's in their head. I don't know. But right after that,
Twarn't no bear.
Twas no bear. But yeah, so Cole's expedition, it's like at night, and he's like meeting up with the crew, and the dude talks about pine cones started falling everywhere, and he got hit in the back of the head. They kind of like make you think that a Bigfoot might have thrown it, but I've been out there and seen pine cones just fucking falling and cracking on the ground.
We were investigating the brown thermal Bigfoot, and we're sitting around the fireplace, and literally I get hit with an apple. Well, I get hit with something heavy, and it hit the ground, and I reached down and I picked it up, and I was like, well, who the fuck just threw an apple at me? And everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, where would an apple come from? And then I look up and I'm sitting under an apple tree. I mean, that's where the apples came. The people who owned the lot didn't even realize that was an apple tree. Yeah, but that's how those kind of things happen. All of a sudden, Sam's man hit Reverend Jeff with an apple. No, an apple fell out of the friggin' tree and bumped me.
Those are pretty red flowers growing over there on that tree. Or was it green or yellow?
They were green. They were a little green and yellow. They were little crab apples.
So after that fucking Stevens douchebag talks about how they need a huge population. So where the fuck's that at? And he's trying to like end it on the, fuck you, everybody that believes
Bigfoot's not real. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the fucking Allen guy, the lie detector guy, he basically says, yeah, they all pass. State his reputation on it. I think I've seen him in almost every made-for-TV documentary.
We couldn't afford him for
detector.
We couldn't afford him for dead Bigfoot. They had to hire that chick. But she was just the same type of a person, a paid, lie detector person. She was not a shill.
Mm-hmm.
That was not an actress paid to play a lie detector chick. That was a real lie detector person with a real lie detector machine who came in and gave him the test twice, and he passed both times. So, yanner nanner.
Yanner nanners. But yeah, so right after that, Bender Bagel says, fuck yeah. I don't know why he said fuck yeah, but he said fuck yeah. And then basically they got nothing on cameras. And Coles and Bartu say they're still going to be searching. And this is exactly where my version that I watched cuts out. Now, I know that it continues on to fucking say a few more things, like they're going to continue the search. And but my version spurted out right as Barto was saying he was still going to be out here searching. So basically they're out there looking still. I know Coles is.
Yeah. Every season, actively out there still looking for the Bigfoot in New York. I didn't used to. I wondered about places like Chicago. Could there really be Bigfoot in Chicago? But on the outskirts, on the edges of Chicago, there might be relic populations that are still out there. I mean, the more we look into this, the enigma that is Sam Squanch, it just becomes obvious that It was here long before humans were, long before the Native Americans were even here, and we've just been squeezing it out ever since. So those populations are thriving in areas that we don't use, and they're dwindling in areas that we do, but that doesn't mean that they're not there.
We need that Dr. Pimple Popper lady to come out and just massively just pop the fucking pimple that is Bigfooting until we get a squatch out. What a description.
Yeah, what a description. We're going to pop the pimple head that is Bigfoot. Well,
Seriously,
that is...
go check those videos out. That is some gross shit.
Oh, dude, if it was me, I couldn't watch it. If it was my own pimple getting popped. Anyhow.
Oh, she takes out some nasty shit, man. Nasty,
Wrap it up.
nastier than a fucking Tim Faisano video, man.
This edition of Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly with the nasty pimple popping idea on the way out. I'm watching people just bail out of the live viewership. They're just like, pimple popping, I'm out. Fuck this shit. Boom. There's another 5 out the door. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll be back Wednesday night with the Squatchers Lounge podcast. We're going to be talking about the Sierra, California Sasquatch and the stories and the descriptions that come from here, right here in our home state of California. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and may the Squatch be with you.
In your butthole.
I think we're going to dig up a copy of Sasquatch the Definitive Guide for next week. What do you think? The Definitive Guide.
Definitive Guide. Sasquatch.
Honky man food masturbate. Oh crap, I put the honky in there. I probably should have left that out.
Definitive.